Jason, we're here in our Memorial Grove here at the National Veterans Memorial Museum, and it's an honor to talk to you today for our Inspiring Story Service for August. But part of this is just to get to know you and who you are, and about a little bit about your service. So tell us where you grew up, how you decided to join the Marines, what life was like before you were a Marine.
Thanks, Andy. And I'm proud and honored to be here, talk about my service, but I'm even more proud to be here to represent all of our Marines from Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 25th Marines here in Columbus, Ohio, and those who've served and are still serving. So thank you for having me. And also, I just want to say this National Veterans Memorial Museum, what a great place. It's I often refer to it as American's kitchen table, where we have those conversations about what it means to serve. And so thank you so much for that and for continuing to keep this mission going. So now, as far as for my service, I would say I was inspired growing up by my grandfather, who he served in the Marine Corps during the Korean War, and he was a marksman instructor in Camp Lejeune. And so just hearing his stories and seeing that is something that I think that created a great impression on me as something that I wanted to serve something greater than myself. And I think a lot of folks say that, but I think after they live that, I think it's a different story. Like how do you articulate that? It's kind of hard to articulate that as a young person until you've had a few years under your belt. And my gray hair that's popping through kind of shows it. But I would say I would sum that up in the word honor. And the United States military, it's one of the last places on earth where we live by the code of a tribe. And what does that mean? That means that we have the culture of putting others' needs before our own. That it's not just about us. It's about the unit. It's about the team, the squad, the company. So it's something that truly is greater than ourselves. We're serving a mission and a cause. And I think America, that's definitely something that we need to be reminded about right now. That although we have all these great individual liberties and freedoms, there is the root of honor that comes from, and what that truly means is to stop and say, I have the freedom to do whatever I want, but I'm going to pause and choose to serve my community and choose to be a part of something greater than myself. And even though I have that gift of freedom, even the greater gift is what you do with that freedom. So that's what inspired me to serve and to continue on in what I do today.
Let's talk about the tribe as you describe it. Lima Company is local here to Columbus, as well as the museum is local here, although we're a national museum, as you said. But there was a nickname that Lima Company had, or still has, I would imagine, called Lucky Lima, and I know that has its roots back to World War II. So
yeah,
tell me about the nickname.
Yeah, so you're right. We were founded back in World War II, and once again, you had members of our community who answered the call of service to do something honorable and to serve something greater than themselves. Right. And so, our unit, Lima Company, we were part of the Battle of Iwo Jima. Yes, we did have the nickname Lucky Lima, and I still like to think we're lucky. Especially all of us who did make it back home, and to be able to tell our story and to live our lives and go on and have families and enjoy the freedoms that we have. But yes, in Iraq, oftentimes you would see the phrase "Lucky Lima," and then how going on to be the hardest hit unit in the Iraq War, where our battalion we lost 48, our company we lost 22 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman, and then that doesn't include on top of that all our Amtrak drivers that came out of New Orleans as well. Also the Iraqi interpreters, the Iraqi National Guardsmen, who were there trying to serve their country and augment beside us, and as we were trying to pass this off to them. And even our, I got to make sure I call out our combat canines. And so, we had one that we lost as well. So, we were a heavy hit unit, but I still like to think we're lucky, and that through all the adversity, all the odds that we faced, we were still able to accomplish a great mission, which was security and stability operations in Iraq, being a part of our battalion's 15 major combat operations. you know, and which resulted in having some of the highest voter turnout that region has ever seen, that people felt safe enough that they could walk outside their door, go down the street, and vote for somebody who they believed in to elect them to serve in their country. And even though that region in all of our provinces has some hard times since we had left, I'm hoping that even now, where we are with our country and where their country's at in their history, that folks will rise up and will continue to preserve that legacy.
Certainly, you were talking about that you felt you guys did accomplish mission objectives over there, and we're talking either about accomplishments or how we honor things. First week of August is a very celebratory honor week in the military. Air Force Day, Coast Guard Day, Purple Heart Day is the first week of August. And you have a very honorable day that you keep in your mind all the time. And when this airs, it'll be soon after that, but a day I'm sure that you always comes close to home for you, which is August 3rd.
Yeah.
And you talked about some of the losses that Lima Company endured. So what do you want to tell us about that first week of August?
Absolutely.
And when that comes up?
Well, oftentimes people don't realize that August 3rd, the events leading up to that really started on July 28th. And so in the Battle of Sikla. And so we were called out to Sikla and on some intelligence that there were some insurgents hiding out with some weapons caches. And so when you fight these insurgents, I mean, oftentimes they'll be hopped up on all kinds of drugs and they'll get shot 30, 40 times and won't even feel it. And, that makes it a challenging feat. And from that, that day we lost 2 members of our platoon. And a member of my squad, Andre Williams, and also we lost Christopher Lyons as well. He was a member of 3rd Squad of our platoon. And so both of them had children. Andre Williams, he had a daughter and a son, and I still keep in touch with his daughter today. And Christopher Lyons, who never had the opportunity to meet his daughter. And so, that's the real price of freedom, I would say.
In fact, in the museum, which you're part of the museum here forever, you talk about in the Coming Home film that when you came home back to Columbus, you didn't go to the celebration for your homecoming. You went to see Andre's grave first.
I had to. I think what folks don't normally connect is that when you're over there and you lose people in your unit, oftentimes the only type of closure that you get to have is packing up their items and putting them in a box. And then there's usually some kind of a ceremony where we'll have some boots and a rifle like you have back here in these beautiful fountains, which has so much significance. Because for us, those were those final moments where we got to pay our respects. And so, it was, going to see Andre meant a lot to me. And I love everybody else, but they could wait. I would say after July 28th, Lima Company, we came back to Hiditha Dam. And we were expecting to be able to kind of take our body armor off for a little while, but shortly after that, we were called out on a quick reaction force mission down to a town across the river outside of Barwana. And so 6 of our snipers in our battalion had been ambushed. And so one of those snipers who was killed as he was trying to escape, first wounded, he was put into a car and taken across the river into Barwana, and then into Ahaklania. And so Jeffrey Boscovich, who the insurgents had put laid in the middle of the town in an area that we called Ambush Alley, they used him as bait for us to come and get him. And so we then amassed our forces in an operation called Operation Quick Strike in order to go and and find those insurgents and to recover Jeffrey Boscovich. That quickly escalated into what's now known as the Battle of Hiditha in 2005, where several Marine units from the Marine Regimental Combat Team 2 had joined us in that effort. And so going into Barwana, Lima Company, one of our Amtraks were then hit by an IED. And the night before that, though, as we were on top of the house that was near where the snipers were killed, I was with two of my fellow non-commissioned officers, Corporal Kruder and also Sergeant Justin Hoffman. And Kruder, who was just one heck of a guy, he was hilarious. He had also just had a son, and so in his family, they live in Cincinnati today. He took out a picture of his son, and I looked at it and said, "Wow, you're a father. That's amazing." And it was hard to believe because it felt like we were just kids when we had first met at Lima Company, and the next day when we went out and he and Justin Hoffman and the rest of their squads, Amtrak was hit by that IED. It was probably the largest one ever to go off in Iraq. It took a 28-ton steel Amtrak and sent it in the air, flipped it upside down, and split it in half, and instantly killed 14 Marines. There was one survivor, the driver, who was ejected from the seat and had several major burns, and there was another vehicle that was able to pull in front of him as well. But losing an entire squad that day, and folks that you've known for years of your life as part of a Marine Corps Reserve unit, in this community, not only do you serve with folks, but oftentimes, there were many of those guys that I went to Ohio State with that I knew very well, and you very much are losing a brother. And so, from that, of course, that went on to escalate into the Battle of Hiditha, and where we recovered weapons caches and were able to locate the insurgents that were responsible. Those insurgents, 6 of them were arrested. I think later on, 8 went to trial. And so, even though we were in the middle of combat, one of the proud things that I'm able to say about the United States is that, we believe in justice. And even though it would have been very easy to execute justice that day, we held true to that, and we allowed them to have that trial, and they were executed for their crimes, and justice was served. And so, I'm glad that our fallen on those days, the fallen for the snipers, were able to at least have that.
Talking about those events that happened from July 28th up through that day, and how you talked early on about honoring. That's a big word for you, honor, and how we honor people. But there's a small way that you honor the guys from Lucky Lima every year. Tell me about the small little thing that you do that is part of this.
Sure thing. We have many things that we do, but Andre Williams, who is a part of my squad and a fellow team leader with me, he always, so every year, of course, we go to his grave. We meet up at his grave, and whoever's around, we always meet up there. A lot of times his daughter, Aaliyah, will come out there. So Aaliyah, if you're watching, we love you. So we'll go to Roosters afterwards on West Broad Street. It's where Andre loved to go, loved Roosters. I still eat Roosters about once a week. And so anyways, Andre had this disgusting shot that he took, and we never understood it, but it's something that was unique to him, that he oftentimes would egg people on to join him in. And he would take a shot of hot sauce and put it on his hand, and then you'd have a shot of Crown, and then you lick the hot sauce, and then you chase it with a shot of Crown. My wife was there this year, And God bless her, man. Raven, you're a great woman. she stepped up to the challenge, and and they took it with us. But yeah, that's something we do every year to honor Andre, and something that was unique to him.
Right. You still keep in contact with the guys you served with, obviously. So tell me a little about what's Lima Company up to now. What are some of the guys doing
Absolutely,
now, after service?
Many of Lima Company, of course, we've gone on to. There are a number of Lima Company members who are police officers, firefighters, still serving today. There are also, one of our members. He's a congressman out in Arizona. So Ruben Gallego, keep up the good work. Also, we have another member who's got this counterintelligence for the State Department. We have a number of folks who went on to serve in Afghanistan. And so a number of folks are still serving in some way or another, whether it's in their community or it's in public service. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of not just what we did there, but I'm proud of what folks are continuing to do. Because we're all proud of what we did in Iraq in 2005, but I think it's not the only thing we want to be known for. There's still a lot of life to live. There's still a lot of honor, love, respect to give. So, and there's a lot of people who need it.
What about Jason Dominguez? What's Jason doing now after his Marine Corps service?
I've had a lot of great opportunities and to continue serving. And so when I first came home, I was honored to be able to go serve on Capitol Hill with Congressman Patrick T-Berry. And wonderful guy, served with him for 5 years, and that was an incredible experience. Learned a lot. It was quite a transition to go from combat to Capitol Hill within a few months. So just want to thank Pat for letting me at least take 2 months off before I showed up to work. So also, I was honored to be able to serve in then Governor John Kasich's administration and in the Ohio Department of Veteran Services. So I was honored to be their chief of staff and to help execute that mission and to continue to advocate for veterans and their families and the military here in Ohio. And so today, at some point, I got my MBA at Ohio State. So from there, I wanted to exercise a little bit of those muscles. So today, I work at Nationwide and their investment management group. And today, I do product development. We help build mutual funds, and so helping to enable America to be able to retire and to help to protect their futures. And so that's what able to continue on in that noble cause. And I'm proud to be able to be a part of that. It's a big thing.
And Nationwide, who's a great partner with us at the museum, really believes in veterans and what they can do for companies. You guys have a wonderful veteran resource group at Nationwide, which we've done some great things with you guys there. So I mean, they're a big believer in service. So that's probably my final question to you in kind of a general terms, or how you want to describe it. Jason, what does service mean to you?
Absolutely. I think, going back to what I said about honor and what honor is, and it's the liberties, the freedoms that we have, that others have fought, died for us. That is a gift, that is a privilege. And I think it's taking that and giving it back and being able to say, what can I do with that? How can I look out for those around me, look out for my community, make this about something that's bigger than myself. And, a good friend of mine who had recently said it probably in the best way that I've heard it is, each generation of Americans, we have this duty to preserve and protect this dream called America that we have. This is an idea that can end at any moment, but it's up to us to continue to choose to make every day about something that's bigger than us, and understand that we're part of something bigger. We're part of a community. I think COVID is kind of it's helped and hurt that in some ways. It's easy to get isolated and to kind of shrink into your space. And I would encourage folks, as we've come out of this pandemic, to reach out, find ways how to connect back into your community, be a part of that something bigger than yourself, to fight for those individual liberties and freedoms and justice, for others. Every day that you can to protect what this country is supposed to be about, and that's the American dream. That's and that's being able to go from to start from nothing and to end up as someone who has everything, and to be able to have safety and security and respect for your fellow man.
That's outstanding. Jason, thanks for being part of our inspiring story of service. Thanks for your service and for our freedom. I mean, Lima Company has a very special place here in Columbus, and you do too as part of our museum, and it was an honor to talk to you today.
Thanks for having me, and it has truly been an honor to me, and thanks for allowing me to come and talk about our boys from Lima Company, 3rd Battalion, 25th Marines. Hoorah!
You can see Jason's story at the museum. He's one of our featured veterans at the National Veterans War Museum. And Jason we talk, you know, he comes to the museum pretty often too, because it's his museum, along with everyone else's. So the it's our museum. The museum's open every Wednesday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., but we're open all the time online at nationalvmm.org. Jason, thanks again.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay.